Welcome, everyone. In March 2015, I'm Dadichi Toth from astrology.com.au. You know, I've seen a lot of people in the past 30 years doing the sort of work that I do. And an interesting answer to the question of, well, what do you want in life is, I want to be happy. Yeah, but how? Yeah, it's such a vague answer. You know, I raised this question because I'm in the process of writing a book called Falling in Love with Your Life. And the fact of the matter is, based upon my observations anyhow, is that, you know, the majority of people just hate their lives. They just don't really enjoy what's happening to them. Of course, if you look at the way the world is, and you know, the unfortunate circumstance that most people find themselves in, it's pretty understandable that they have horrible lives, and it's difficult to really fall in love with a bunch of crap. So, you know, there are some, I guess, processes to getting to that process of falling in love with your life. And I guess the first thing is figuring out what it is you really want in life. Let's leave aside happiness. But yeah, happiness is generally considered to be a byproduct of what it is you aspire to. So, you know, you want to amass $1 million, that's going to make you happy. You want to, you know, help little kids in Cambodia, that, you know, is going to make you happy. You want to be the CEO of the next great technology company, that'll make you happy. But as you can see, leaving aside the philosophical notion that, you know, we are indeed happiness itself and that we require nothing outside ourselves for that happiness, the practicality is that, you know, we need to earn money, we need to do something that's going to you know, provide us the, you know, security that we need in this realm of existence. And so the first question you have to ask yourself is, well, what is the end point? What is that point that I want to achieve that is going to make me happy? And that comes back to another more fundamental question, because as I say to most of my clients and friends, it's not really the how. The how is something we worry. How am I going to get that million? How am I going to reach the top of the corporate ladder? Really, the how is not something you need to worry about. The first thing is to figure out the what. What is it you want to do? And actually, that sounds like a simple question, but when you think about it, most people don't know what they want to do. They're just sort of aimlessly going from this job to that, from this relationship to that. And so it is an important question, and I would put that to you, that if you're looking to fall in love with your life, to really enjoy this existence, this path that you're on, you do need to begin with the end. You need to exactly figure out what that thing is. You know, it's a strange, I suppose, karmic consequence of knowing the what. But once you know the what, the how really does start to take care of itself. Once you know the what and you're committed to that, then the process of how seems to mysteriously start to emerge through the circumstances that you find yourself in, through the people that you happen to meet, through the, just what you'd call, I call them incidents of coincidence, which is another book that I'm writing. But all of the pieces magically, as if magically, fall in place. But what people don't understand is that knowing that what is itself a very powerful generator of energy, and it's a transmission that sends a significant message to the universe to respond in kind. So that's the first point. The second point is, what happens if you know what you want to do, but you're still working? Like I myself was, you know, pretty clear on what I wanted to do as an astrologer, but for 6 to 8 years I wasn't able to do it. There just wasn't any money in it. You know, I had family commitments, children, mortgage, cars, cats and dogs and all that sort of stuff. So we do have to keep in mind the reality. So the reality in my case was that I had to take on a job that I didn't particularly like it. I was doing sales work for the Sharp Corporation. But I sort of figured that, working 50 to 60 hours a week, I may as well become as good as I can at that and really, really start enjoying that. And that is what I'm talking about. You may find yourself in a situation where you're not particularly comfortable with what you're doing. For those of you that have figured out the what, and you're working towards that goal, then the second part of the equation is not as simple as it sounds, and that is loving what you do. Actually getting in there and doing what it is you have to do, but do it in a way which is really bringing your creative love and presence to that function. And I practiced a lot on washing the dishes, which I hated with a vengeance. I remember years ago fortunately I don't have to wash the dishes, but every night I have to wash the dishes like most guys do. The wife cooks, the husband washes the dishes. I really hated it, but I sort of figured I've got to spend 15 or 20 minutes doing this task every night. That's 15 or 20 minutes out of my life that is really unenjoyable. So let me change that. Let me bring my energy, my love, my attention, my awareness to that function and change it up. That 15 or 20 minutes then became, it wasn't something I was passionately in love with, but I was able to use that to just fine-tune and meditate and focus on the task at hand. And that's really what I'm talking about for those of you that haven't figured out what specifically you want to do. And it sounds like a simple process, but the moment you start transmitting, number one, what it is you want to do, number two, loving even the menial tasks that you're doing, which is this, what I'd call the interim period between what you're doing now and what you'd really, really love to be doing, then that process itself does set in motion a train of other factors. Call it the X factor. In some ways I can't explain it other than to say that what you transmit is to a large extent what you receive. So I say that the human being is not only a transmitter but a receiver. Therefore, the human being, you and I, are transceivers, and we will receive precisely what we give out. The other thing, and I'll leave you on this note, is the what has a lot to do with your self-identity. That is, identifying with what it is you do. If you ask any super-duper professional, someone who's really climbed the top of the tree in their specific field, and you ask them, what do you do? They will immediately respond in, I am a musician. I am a doctor. I am an actor. They respond not by saying, I do this or I do that. Their identity is completely intertwined with what it is they do. They are what they do. So if you're in a situation where you're identifying with the menial tasks that you don't enjoy, you haven't got an idea of what it is you want to do, then could I put it to you that the first task at hand for you is to really figure out your identity. And that is a philosophical question. It comes back to the notion of who am I? That's the pure philosophical question. But we can extend that to the dimension of day-to-day activities where we're working in this material world. Who am I? What is it that I'm here to do? What am I destined to do? What are my talents? What are my gifts? That is part of the what. And that, my friends, is what I would leave you with today as the most important exercise in your life, apart from hearing from me in the next hour or so what the 12 signs of the zodiac readings are for each of you. Do sit down, work out what it is you want, what your identity is, and just bring a little bit more love to even the most menial tasks that you have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But thanks for joining me again, and talk to you soon. Join me at astrology.com.au for all your astrological and esoteric needs. Bye-bye.